Hello and welcome to the webinar on supporting the prime areas. I'm Stacey Mann, Subject Specialist Early Years and Childcare at CASH NCFE, and today we're going to look at defining the changes in the Early Years Foundation Stage statutory framework in terms of prime areas, and we will explore ways to implement the prime areas in an early years setting. Considering the Early Years Foundation Stage changes to be implemented in September 2021, it's important to revisit the prime areas of the framework and review and/or revise your own curriculum and pedagogy. But more than this, we're going to look at how we can instill confidence and reassurance in the practices of your setting. As ever, professional reflections are important in moving forward and being the best version for the children in your care. By refreshing knowledge and building on the knowledge of the EYFS, we will ensure that children get the best start in life at our settings. We're going to begin by drawing attention to the 4 overarching principles of the Early Years Foundation stage. And it's how we will set the scene for the continued care and provision. These principles have not changed, and it's of paramount importance that these principles are embedded into everyday practice and not forgotten at a time when there are so many other things to consider. So let's take a unique child. Regardless of the changes in the framework and in the supporting documents, the main concern for us all is recognising the child for who they are right now, realising that they do not fit into an age band box, but they are unique in their characteristics and personality. Getting to know the children in your care is the best way to ensure that they make progress, as you will have information on their motivations for learning, what makes them smile, and the ways in which they can communicate best. Then we have positive relationships, which we all know is very important. This principle goes far beyond the positive relationship with you as the practitioner and the child. It's really for the whole family and the other professionals and the practitioners in the setting. They all need to work together to create positive relationships with each other and with the children. And then we have environment. The environment created for the children and families will send messages to them that we do not always think about. First of all, does it feel welcoming? And then thinking about provision, time to relax, outdoor spaces, and the day-to-day functions. It is worth reviewing this in the moment as well as regularly as a team. Is it working or does something need to change? Different cohorts will require different spaces. So, an it has always worked attitude will not be productive. Be open-minded to changing the environment from time to time and ask the children their thoughts. If they don't have the vocabulary, observe and tune in. Are they settled and comfortable? There is an equal sign in this picture for a reason. When all 3 principles are in place, it is then that we can consider learning and development. The foundations of learning and development is the emotional well-being of the child and the family. We are very lucky to have 2 different guidance documents to support us. We have Development Matters. Development Matters 2020 is shorter than the first, and it's around 2/3 of the length to allow for more freedom to develop the right broad curriculum for the children you work with. The age bands have been simplified to avoid tracking activities that do not support child development. There's more room for professional judgment. You can make more judgments based on your knowledge and experience instead of using the early learning goals or age bands in the framework to track children's progress. We also have Birth to 5 Matters. Birth to 5 Matters offers more depth and additional information that can support decision making when it comes to any changes. It provides a robust guide to supporting the children and the staff team. So, curriculum, what does it mean? It simply means that we want children to experience, know, and be able to do. Building your own curriculum is what practitioners do on a daily basis, and this need not be an onerous task. Delving into both development matters and birth to 5 matters is a way to ensure that you take a balanced view of the curriculum you provide for the children. Lots of settings are adopting a view of an amalgamation of the two documents with a sprinkle of their own ethos and pedagogy. The prime areas encompass all the foundations for the children's development and ensure that these are strong before moving on to specific. This hasn't changed. In no order, they are personal, social and emotional development, communication and language, and physical development. It's important to note that these areas are not delivered in an isolated way and that every experience offered to the children is holistic. It allows you as the practitioner to take an experience and turn it into a learning opportunity. The children are able to develop all of these prime areas at the same time during one activity or experience. So here's an example for you. Jemima is 3 years old and has started to play in the garden after arriving at the setting. She immediately runs to the sand tray and picks up a huge bucket filled with pebbles. She empties some of the pebbles out and begins to fill the bucket with her hands, pushing the sand down using her palms. A child nearby notices Jemima and they smile at each other. The other child asks Jemima if she's 3, and Jemima says, "I am 3 and a bit." The pair laugh and begin to play side by side, filling the buckets with their hands. So, in this scenario, this is an exchange of a few minutes, but Jemima is showing all 3 prime areas in her play. Physically, she's using fine and gross motor skills, filling the bucket with sand, lifting the bucket of pebbles and patting it down with her palms. She is socially engaging with another child of a similar age and using her language skills to proudly confirm that she is 3 and a bit. In the moment, as a practitioner, there may be nothing else to do here, no interaction needed, or you could step in and enhance the play by adding water or other objects, or by interacting with Jemima and her friend to discuss the possibilities and to listen intently to their ideas. One of the other areas we need to consider are the characteristics of effective teaching and learning. Reflecting on these characteristics of effective teaching and learning enables practitioners to develop and adjust their practice. Again, getting to know the children and their motivation is crucial to getting this right, as well as replenishing the environment and experiences. For example, the Play-Doh situation. Play-Doh is made prior to the children arriving, and each space has a lump of Play-Doh with items to share in the middle of the table. This would be suitable for children playing and exploring and who are actively learning. However, for a child creating and thinking critically, we may consider the process of making the Play-Doh being in their control. The ingredients for the Play-Doh could be offered to allow them to make links with their own ideas. Moving on to communication and language as a prime area. You will see here there's a quote from Development Matters that says the development of children's spoken language underpins all 7 areas of learning and development. With a focus on less paperwork and more interaction, speaking and listening with the children should be a main priority. From an early age, serve and return is an amazing way to encourage more spoken language and to add new vocabulary. This can be done in many ways in the setting through storytelling, role play, having conversations, narrating what you're doing, and asking genuine questions. Be interested in what the children are doing and how they are doing it. The 3 aspects that children will develop are listening and attention, understanding and speaking. The opportunities for all these areas in one day are endless and refer to the 4 principles of the early years foundation stage. Reflecting on whether the environment enables these 3 aspects is one that would be beneficial. For example, in an area where there are books for the children to snuggle and read and listen to a story, what is right next to that area? How quiet is it for the conversations about the pictures to happen? Within Development Matters and Birth to 5 Matters, there are examples of how to support the baby's and young children's learning. Here's an example for you. Gazes at faces, copying facial expressions and movements like sticking out their tongue, make eye contact for longer periods. So this is within development matters. So some of the examples of this could be using exaggerated intonation, singing songs, playing and interacting on the floor and outside, narrating what is happening. This could also be shared with parents and families to encourage them to do the same on walks and when at home. Within the development matters guidance, there is the use of observation checkpoints. The checkpoints are places within development that the practitioner can consider for formative assessment. They may be used by all of the staff team or only utilised for newer, less confident members. So an example for this would be this one on the slide, around 18 months. Does the toddler understand lots of different single words and some two-word phrases such as give me or shoes on? If the answer to this is yes, great. Continue with all the rich experiences. If the answer is no, then ensure that there's more emphasis put on moving this progress forward. This could be more storytelling and singing. It could be getting to know the child's likes and dislikes better and using the likes as a motivation for more vocabulary. We're now going to move on to personal, social and emotional development. And again, there's a quote here for you, but this time it's taken from Birth to 5 Matters. Personal, social and emotional development is fundamental to all other aspects of lifelong learning and development and is key to children's well-being and resilience. It should be embedded within our practice. Reflections in these areas again provide an insight on how we can continue to improve, ensuring that the children's well-being is at the forefront of our minds. This will also include how we sensitively choose the key person, how we prepare for transition, and how well we communicate with the families too. Drawing on our own personal development as well as how we adopt warm and responsive relationships will also contribute to the development of this area. An example of range 2, which is how Birth to 5 Matters have decided to break up some of these age bands for 12 to 18 months. It says builds relationships with special people. Ways in which we can support this lies in getting to know the children, staying close and allowing them to be comforted when they're anxious or upset, making the day predictable and offering consistency and continuity. And here's an example of the statutory early learning goal. Work and play cooperatively and take turns with others. This is an area that will be modelled from a very young age, and the children will be shown how to do this in a sensitive, age-appropriate and empathic way. Having a sound understanding of child development will enable the practitioner to understand fully what is developmentally appropriate in terms of sharing and the development of the social interactions for children. At the end of reception, children will have experience of games, free play where turn taking will be required and will be developmentally ready to cooperate with each other. This can also be shared with parents, giving them ideas of how to promote cooperation at home. And our final prime area is physical development. Physical activity is vital in children's all-round development. We know this well. And this area includes both gross and fine motor skills, experiences that should be provided for the children throughout their lives. Physical activity should be a part of the daily routine in a setting and ensure that children enjoy exploring activities throughout the day. It's also about considering time to rest, sleep and relax, both indoors and outdoors. Some of the examples given in both documents can be used to apply a varied curriculum and promote a fun and healthy provision. Again, here are some examples. The birth to 3 age band. Begin to walk independently, choosing appropriate props to support at first. Ideas to support this could include ensuring the environment is suitable. Maybe there are obstacles that require the children to pull themselves up and navigate around. The adult being attuned to when the child is strong enough to stand and take some steps. Working with parents to encourage walking. Space in the outdoor area that is safe and has areas to explore are also going to help. And here is our final example of an observation checkpoint. Look out for children who find it difficult to sit comfortably on chairs. They may need help to develop their core muscles. So by checking in at this point, the practitioner is then able to adapt and review the environment. They can also provide experiences that may encourage core strength, such as sitting down to scoot, yoga stretches, and soft play. So thinking about our planning now, through the example shown and through reading the guidance, it is clear that the knowledge, understanding and providing for the children's needs does not need to be reams of paperwork that no one really understands. The planning that is carried out for the children will often be in the moment, discussed by the people who are attuned with their development and who have great knowledge of both the child and child development. Planning is about observing the child, assessing what these observations tell us, and then providing experiences and opportunities within play, continuous provision, and the environment itself. Again, considering the principles of the early years foundation stage and working together with the children to create a learning environment that is inclusive and responsive. So here are a few reflections. Get to know the children. Can you talk about your key children with confidence? Where are they now? What are you supporting them with right now? And how do you encourage their curiosity? Have an excellent understanding of child development. Have you revisited child development and considered how much you know already? Do you need to delve deeper into the current age group? Are you expecting too much from the children? Are you challenging the children? Quality interactions. Do you actively listen to the children? How do they know this? And do you have meaningful conversations with the children? How could that be extended? Communication and collaboration. How do you ensure that collaboration and communication is present within the whole team? How about the room teams? And how about with the children and the parents? Really important to take time to reflect on all of these points. But finally, trust yourself and your expertise. The new framework and guidance is fairly small and digestible. It's an opportunity to refresh and revitalise your practice. There are no major changes, and the changes that have been made give more indication of quality interactions with the children, which is our reason for doing the job. So celebrate those amazing relationships, the well thought out environments, and the dedication to the role in early years. Thank you for listening. You will see on the slide in front of you that I am Stacey Mann, the Early Years and Childcare Subject Specialist, and my email address is there for any queries that you may have. Thank you.